Hello everybody, it's May 14th, 2022. I apologize for the tardiness of this video. I kind of forgot that yesterday was Friday, to be perfectly honest. I'm at an event this weekend and just slipped my mind. So I'm going to go ahead and do a video tonight on Saturday instead of Friday for public viewing, and we're going to go over Bitcoin here. So I'm on my laptop instead of my desktop, so bear with me. You're going to see the recording software here as I switch over. Alright, so I want to go over what I said on Monday. That finally we had broken that 32.8 level. Means the bottom can finally be in at any time, right? And when it does reverse, it can be really strong. It doesn't have to be, but it could be really strong. I had begun the process of spot buying. And at this point over the week, I'm about 50% in with my cash. If you remember, I sold all of my crypto back when Bitcoin was about 50K back in December. I sold my stocks at the same time, and I'm only now dipping back into the markets basically with my cash. So I did say that the wave count can get really blurry here as we start getting towards the bottom. We could have seen an immediate push down, or we could see one of these two scenarios. And so at the time, I was giving the blue scenario about 60% odds, where we had struck the major three bottom, and we just had one more push down. However, in the preceding, or over the last few days, over this week, it looks more like orange scenario is correct. And that is a little bit dangerous because I really don't want to see it go below 24K. So let's just jump in to TradingView here and put it in full screen mode. All right. So basically back on Monday, I don't remember exactly where that was. That was, I suppose, right around here. A few days earlier. Anyway, somewhere in this blue box, right? We could have seen a higher bounce up through this red box and then a lower low basically to here, and that could have been bottom. However, since we saw just kind of sideways action, it really just tapped that red box, and then we went down to the orange box here, which was part of the orange scenario. We are now in this fourth wave zone here, and we went pretty much exactly where we should have in that danger zone right there for that to be a fourth wave before fifth wave lower. And this is very clearly an ABC up. That is a corrective structure. It is not an impulsive structure. That does not indicate a bottom to me. And then since that time, we've come down a little bit and we started having a little bounce. But this bounce also looks like a three-wave bounce, corrective structure, once again. So I am hedged now. So at the beginning of the video, I said I had gotten in 50% of my buys, right? So my average is right around 29K, basically. Right around 29K is my average because I went heavy here. I went lighter on my initial buys, heavy down here. And so my average is pretty good. It's 29, okay? As we went up into this zone, I sent out an alert to members saying I am hedging short against the positions that I just bought. So essentially I'm now neutral. I still have my spot buys, but I am hedged 100% against those spot buys with shorts in this area. And I was planning on hedging even a little bit further if it went up higher. And I still plan to do that. So basically what we're looking at now, let me zoom out a little bit here. If this 26K level that we struck, well, USDT is actually trading a little bit different than USD. It kind of lost the peg there for a second. So the USD actually went down to 26K, but USDT went to 26.78, something like that, right? In any case, I'm viewing this now as most likely the third wave. So I'm saying orange count is probably winning here, especially because we have this large fourth wave bounce going directly into that fourth wave zone there. And you can see that between the 618 and the 76 or the 786 right there. And so then the expectation from that is a move down further into this zone here. Let me see. I think I may have accidentally moved my fib. Let me go back over here and just make sure it's in the right place. It looks like it's in the right place. Okay. It's in the right place there. It's in the right place down here. So this orange box actually comes down a little bit right there, as does this target box right here. So the ideal target for this to go to is 22.2 to 23.8 for this next move to be the orange 5 down. Obviously that's problematic because I don't want to see it go below 24K. So what does that mean? I really don't know. I have a couple different scenarios that would enable this to still be bullish on the macro chart. The first scenario would be maybe we don't go down that far. Maybe this truncates, we get moved down that ends around here, and we actually don't get that full bottom, which would not be an issue. If we're going to see a really bullish reaction, we would actually kind of expect a truncation on this. So that's a possibility. Another possibility is that we get just a nasty liquidation wick down and then heavily bought up afterwards. And my stop is a day below 24K. Right? I'm not going to stop if it just wicks below 24K. I am only stopping if it spends an entire day down there below 24K. All right, so those are my two scenarios where we can still kind of keep the bullish potential on the chart. But if we spend more than a day below 24K, I have to be honest, I'm going to get really worried about the long-term prospects, and I am probably going to sell my Bitcoin, right? But if you remember, I'm hedged short 100% of what I bought. I'm going to buy more down here. As we get closer to 25K, I have more spot buys set now between 25 and 22K to try to catch a knife. So I will be net long at that point, but I'm going to hold on to these shorts as well just in case. So if I need to stop out of those spot buys, I will still at least have my shorts running to continue profiting on the way down if it does break down further. So that's the way that I'm playing this. Obviously, you have to make your own plan that you're happy with. So let's go over what this micro action looks like now and see what our targets are in the micro. First off, I have on here this potential for this to be a WXY. It may not be done with the correction upwards. If it really wants to chop around for a while, that could be ABC within W. We could be doing an ABC down within X, or maybe it's already done. And then we could get an ABC up a little higher into this danger zone and make a more complex pattern. It's a possibility. If X was already done, and I don't view this as the primary scenario, but if X was already done with that move there, we would then be looking at this zone right here as the possible zone for that Y wave to top. So just keep that in mind. I don't view it, like I said, as the most probable scenario. I think, more likely, this actually, it's not the best 5-wave move, but it does kind of look like a 5-wave move potentially here. This is maybe a 1-2, maybe 3, 4, and 5. Like I said, it's not pretty, but it could be 5 waves down. So if we see this continue to break down, that's what I'll view that as. And so I'm going to go ahead and get targets for this wave down based on this micro to see where it lines up and see if those lower levels of 22 to 23K are realistic based on the micro. Okay, and the PPO supports this as well. Obviously, as you can see, it's in the bright red territory there. volume declining also supports that. There's no interest right now in Bitcoin at these levels. All right, so if that is going to be our 1 and 2, and again, this is very preliminary because we don't have proof yet, but if that's going to be our micro 1, 2, here's where we would go. 3 would be expected to come down here to about 26.5 to 27, so basically retest those lows right there. 4 would probably bounce up here, and then 5 would actually only get us down to about 25.7. So if this is the beginning of our micro 5 wave move down to end this 5th wave, we actually may see truncation, okay, which, as you remember, is one of my scenarios that I would like to see in order to keep this bullish. So we could see it thread the needle like this and keep it above that 24K level based on this micro 1, 2, if we do see it start dropping more immediately. So that may in fact play out in our favor by not reaching down to those extremely low levels. So we'll need to keep a watch on this and keep an eye on where it goes next, right? It hasn't proven it's an impulsive move down yet. It is still kind of chopping around right now. It needs to break that low. If it pushes higher, like I said, it could be doing a WXY. So once again, this is preliminary, but this is just kind of the path that it should take down or may take down to a low that is truncated from the higher time frame expectation, which again I would love to see so that we can bounce above 24K. That would be awesome, right? And this would be pretty epic anyway, you know, just basically taking out these lows, take out the stop losses one more time before actually starting to pump from there. A low is not proven until we see a 5-wave impulse. I cannot stress that enough. All right. So even though this is exactly what we needed the bulls or the bears to do in order to give the bulls another chance, it's not proven until we then get a 5-wave move off of whatever low we strike. All right. So the time to get heavy on aggressive buys and or leverage is not until after we see that. Once we see that, then we can see a pullback. That's the time to get aggressive. Okay, but bottom is absolutely not proven until that happens. So keep that in mind, right? Now that being said, obviously I am spot buying, okay, but I'm not putting all of my cash in. I'll probably go to about 70%, but I'm ready to bail on it. I'm ready to bail if it spends a day below 24, and I'm hedged short. So again, that's my plan. That's my risk management plan. Have your own plan. You absolutely shouldn't be leverage longing down here. I think that's a stupid idea because if you get that wick down, you can get knocked out and then it can still pump. So spot buys only are what I'm interested in doing down in this region here. All right. I think that pretty much sums up everything I need to say on Bitcoin. We'll see how the rest of the weekend plays out, and we will go from there. So go ahead and check out the subscribe button here. Make sure you subscribe to my videos, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on the video, that helps me out, and check out the suggested video here as well. I am bragging a little bit in this video. I'm warning you, I'm bragging. But, I was very, very right. Going back to November of last year, the last 6 months have played out pretty much exactly as I expected. So, take a look at that video. Proof is there. Proof is in the pudding. And, subscribe to the channel after that. All right, guys, have a good night. I'll talk to you all on Monday.